Is fear really keeping you from living the life that you actually want to live? That is the question that I want us to talk about today. What about you, babe? What do you think?
So, if I'm being honest, yes, I think a fear of success has caused me to self sabotage myself in the past and keep me from living the life I felt I deserved. I kind of grew up as one of those people that was always really smart. You know, oh man, you're in gifted and talented class. He's so smart. My little boy's so smart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But being smart and being told you're smart leads to inaction later on in life.
Mm.
Because what happens is it's like, oh, cool, I'm smart. I know I'm smart. And then when you find out the people that are you end up as a theorist and not somebody that actually does anything. And so what happens, either you learn this lesson too late or you never learn it at all. It's like, hey man, I got to take this smart energy and actually put it into doing something instead of being afraid. Because what happens is it kind of manifests in a like, I'm gonna procrastinate, or I gotta be perfect. It can't get out unless it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect, and it's actually a fear of success. Out or having something put out into the world is better than being perfect.
Because it's almost like you have to live up to your smartness.
Mm-hmm.
And so you won't put anything out and possibly fail
Mm-hmm.
because, oh, you were better than that. You're smarter than that. You should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see how that could be hard. I also grew up in, being told I was so smart and being in the AP classes and the different classes and everyone having these high expectations of me. Um, I think the one thing about me, one of my strengths is though, I'm going to keep trying until I figure it out.
Yeah.
I have this vision of what I know that I want to experience, and I'm going to keep doing something until I get there. I think a lot of times we're like, I'm going to try this thing. And you tell everyone you're going to try this thing, and then when it doesn't work, you're embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're like, well, I'm going to just continue doing it because I don't want to look like a quitter or I don't want people to talk about me. But for me, I'm like, well, I didn't achieve the goal of this life vision that I have yet. So I'm going to just keep trying things until I get there. That's just how I am. And so, maybe it's me trying different jobs. Maybe it's me trying different businesses or moving to another place or doing this and that. I'm going to keep trying whatever it is until I achieve the goal because I'm not going to settle. Like, you have one life,
Mm-hmm.
and like, why would you settle for a life that you don't actually want to live?
And then when you understand about what success really is, people see like, oh, overnight success. Oh, that person's got millions of dollars. Oh, that person's playing a solo concert in front of the Philharmonic by himself. What you don't see is that person getting punched in the mouth over and over and over and over. And so you essentially have to be good at getting punched in the mouth to be successful, because that's what it is. You're stringing together failure after failure after failure because it builds. I guess if we're going to go like a anime reference, you get plus 20 armor points and you get plus 16 skill, and then it just makes you essentially a badass because you're like, oh man, not only are you a badass because of all the failures you've had, you start to understand that there's a pattern to the failures and there's a pattern to the success. And so it
Mm-hmm.
becomes a game of pattern recognition. And then you're like, okay, dodge, weave, stick, move, pow, and you figure it out.
Yeah. And when it comes to like the different moves, living in one place or not, one thing that I used to get from people a lot was, oh my gosh, you're so brave. I could never do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. Yes, you
Absolutely.
can. I think the fear of what's on the other side, or the fear of a new country, the fear of a new whatever, is what stops a lot of people from
Mm-hmm.
even moving or trying something new. It's not even like moving across the country, moving across the world. It could be moving to another city. People are like, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can.
It could be moving more on that, not to another city, to a nicer side of town, to a part of town that has a Whole Foods, to a part of town that has a Target, to a part of town that's walkable.
Uh huh.
But
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'm really not brave. It's just that I don't allow the fear of something to stop me from trying it. I may have fear the whole way getting up to that point, but I'm still gonna just do it because I know that the grander vision that I have for what I want to experience, the life that I want to build, that's gonna propel me. That's gonna be the fuel that I use to get there.
Right. And so now, as far as our mission, 6 months in America, 6 months abroad, what would we be afraid of when it comes to doing that?
I'm really not afraid of anything when it comes to that. When it comes to that, I'm not afraid of anything, and I'm not like a fearless person. It's not that. It's just that for me, when I think of this move, this change, if it doesn't work out, we come back.
Mhm.
We just come back.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And for some people, yes, you're packing up your whole life and you're changing everything. For us specifically, we've both been minimalists for such a
Mhm.
long time that I've bought and sold and given away my stuff probably about 4 times at this point. So even our apartment now, if we ever give you guys a tour, is very minimal because we always knew going into this that we were probably going to be traveling or moving back overseas at some point. So yeah,
Don't get us wrong, our apartment's really
it's
nice.
nice. It's
We've got
nice.
a fantastic view of the sunset, but I
Yes.
mean, we don't need
But
a bunch of things.
we don't have an accumulation of things that many people tend to have in America.
We're not hoarders, basically. But my thoughts on fear of being overseas and here, I mean, I'm not really afraid either. I've been to like 20, 21 countries. So for me, going somewhere strange is not that big of a deal. As long as they got some good food, cool people,
Gotta
nice
have the
place.
food.
Yeah, food is definitely a must everywhere we go. Um, and a nice place for me to lay my head, I'm pretty much good. But what I think, if I was to put myself in somebody else's shoes that's never been abroad or never decided to live away from home for 6 months, I don't know anybody. Man, how
Oh,
am I
that's a
supposed
big
to
one.
talk to these people? I don't speak the language. Uh, what if I don't like the food? What if I don't like where I'm living?
Am I safe?
Yeah. Am I
Yeah.
safe is a big one. You see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, and then you being a solo female traveler before we met or when we met, that's probably one of the biggest questions you would always get.
Mm-hmm. Are you safe? And actually, I would tell people a lot of times I feel safer when I'm traveling than I do in America. And we were just talking about this we came from a walk just now, and we were on our walk, and he was telling me that there was a shooting in my favorite park in one of my favorite parks in Houston. And I'm like, man, that really it really hit me because I'm like, I walk in that park by myself all the time. Like that's where I go for my exercise, when I go to clear my head, and to know that people are just shooting, like, man, that's really disheartening. But when I'm traveling, I've been in places where I've had to look over my shoulder, but in most of the places that I like to travel solo and the places that we enjoy together, I'm not worried about those types of things. So when people talk about America versus abroad and they bring safety into the picture, I'm like, do you feel safe in a lot of cities in America?
Answer is probably no.
Yeah.
But what else from a standpoint of somebody that's never been?
Oh, the cost.
Oh,
The
okay.
cost. People always want to know that was always a big question I got. How can you afford to travel? How can you afford to live abroad? A lot of times it's actually cheaper living
Yeah.
abroad. And I don't want to say all the countries are cheaper. You know, we have a mix,
Mm-hmm.
just like in America. You have cities that are more expensive, parts of town that are more expensive. But in my experience, it has been less expensive, more cost efficient
Mm-hmm.
for me to live abroad than being in America.
Yeah. Um, and then I guess fear of healthcare. Is there going to be adequate healthcare when I get to another place abroad or something like that? I think traveling to a lot of Southeast Asia, what you'll often find, don't tell people in America, the healthcare is actually a lot better over there. And it won't cost you much or nothing. But you can
Yeah.
look to the other YouTube channels and find out more about that. And they'll
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you. Procedures, I think when I got X-ray or something over there in Thailand, it might have been maybe $10, $20.
Yeah,
I didn't break the bank at all.
didn't break the bank. So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of benefits. Of course, every country has its own pros and cons. We don't want to romanticize living abroad, but like, yeah, I think if you're struggling to build the kind of life that you want to build here in America, just know that this is not the only option.
Right.
It's not the only option. Just because it's the only thing you know currently doesn't mean it's the only option for you.
And another fear, your family. Man, if you don't get out of here with that BS, you got Zoom, you got FaceTime, you got WhatsApp, you got text messages, you got,
And they can come see you.
yeah, you can come see you. You can send them a postcard. There are so many different ways to communicate with your family when you're overseas. Now, they might not actually physically be there with you. I don't think that technology for teleportation is out
Not
quite yet,
yet.
but I'm sure it's coming.
But also, you're gonna meet new people
Mhm.
when you're abroad. And I've said this in a previous video, but I've met so many great people while traveling that yes, you want your friends from home, your family, of course, but you can also build new communities while you're traveling.
Yeah.
It's not as hard as I've actually found it to be easier to make friends while traveling than versus being here.
And meeting friends, I, I feel like the reason why it's so easy to meet friends when you're abroad, because there is, the BS is just sliced right down the middle. You don't have to, oh yeah, I'm all super successful. What do you do? What do you do? Hey, we're both here in a backpack overseas, or if you're not in a backpack, we're
Yeah, I was
both
never a
here
backpacker,
in a
but
coffee shop. I guess I had a backpack, but I don't consider myself a backpacker, even though I did stay in a couple different hostels. But it's so easy meeting people overseas. Um, I remember when I was out in Tokyo, we went to Studio Ghibli's museum. So if you don't know, Studio Ghibli is kind of like the Disney of Japan. And so you have to do this kind of crazy ticket buying process at the time to even go out to this park and find the actual museum. So I'm in the gift shop. I'm pretty tall. It's nothing but a bunch of the locals surrounding me, and I'm like, oh man. So I see this big tall guy, clearly a foreigner, and we both put our hands up at the same time and say, English? And we were like, yeah. So we're like, all right, we got to go grab some beers or something. And so we're trying to figure out where we're going to go. So Tokyo set up like a donut, the train station. So we just picked a random spot that was kind of in between the middle where we were both staying and went there, hopped off, went to a pub, got a couple beers, had some lunch. And it's that easy. You know, I got invited to his wedding back out in Tokyo. And it's crazy how easy it is. And I think it could be that easy here in America if people didn't have their own personal biases.
yeah, and I know a lot of people have their guards up. And I mean that's one reason why we started doing the monthly game nights here in Houston, because we know so many people that struggle to meet people out in the world. And so we're like, let's create a space for that.
And listen, this is the one thing about meeting new people, whether it be friends, relationships, whatever you're looking for, you got to get out the house to meet people. You can't sit on the couch scrolling Netflix like, oh, where am I going to meet some people today? Get out the house, go to an event. You come to one of our game nights if you're here in Houston, or at the future ones that are going to be in whatever country you're in, and meet some cool people.
So I think that's it for today, guys.
Yep, that's it. Next up in our video is going to be our Q&A session where we put each other in the hot seat. We think you guys are going to love that.
Yes.